Hey everyone, I'm Tammy from Minerva, and today I'm going to share 4 different patterns and fabric pairings that will help you create a really stylish waistcoat. So waistcoats have been really trendy this summer, and whether you're sewing them loose fitting or tailored, they have such a lovely luxury aesthetic. I've been seeing them all over high street shops, like these 2 examples from Zara and H&M. Both of them feel really roomy at the waist, and they're made in really neutral colours, which I really like. And then more high-end brands like Maximara and Chloe have really nice examples where they're a bit more fitted in the silhouette, but they are also in a nice neutral colour. This one from Chloe really did catch my eye because it's made in such an interesting fabric choice. They've actually made this one in corduroy, and I think it looks absolutely stunning. But to help you create these looks at home, I'm going to share 4 different patterns, and the first one that I'm going to talk about is actually the easiest of the 4, and that is the Pippet Vest by Common Stitch. If you consider yourself a bit more of a beginner and you don't want the hassle of actually making a waistcoat that fits you perfectly, this is definitely the pattern for you. So it has a V neckline detail and a pointed hem feature. It also comes in 2 different lengths, and you can either sew it to finish at the waist or you can sew it to finish just below your hip. I've actually sewn this pattern myself, and I'll insert a picture of what that looks like here. I can't recommend this pattern enough. So when I made this version, I actually used our viscose linen blend, and it was a perfect fabric choice for this pattern. I actually found it really nice and easy to wear, and it pressed beautifully when I was making this. The pattern actually recommends using cottons and linens and any sort of fabric like that, but I came across this gorgeous fabric on our website. This is our linen look crepe fabric in a really gorgeous sage green colour. This really has such a wonderful drape, and the colour is perfect. This would make such a nice loose fitting waistcoat, which is why I would recommend it for this pattern. You can see the linen look detail of this crepe. If you've never sewn with linen before, I've personally find linen's natural structure to be a little stiff, which is why I opted for a linen blend with this choice. So because this is a linen crepe blend, it has the drape of a crepe, then also you have the really gorgeous detail of the linen, and it's just such a great pairing of both of those fabrics. I absolutely love the drape of this fabric. It really does feel very expensive, and the colorway is just perfect for that sort of neutral color palette. The pattern recommends you to sew 1 or 2 buttons depending on the different style that you choose, and it does recommend to use 2 to 2.5 centimeter width buttons, but you can definitely play with smaller or bigger buttons if you want to make a bit more of a statement piece. Definitely recommend this pattern. I've personally sewn it, and it really is such a great pattern if you're looking for that loose fitting waistcoat. So the next pattern I want to talk about is definitely a bit more glam, and I would say it's for the more intermediate or advanced sewers, and that is the Liliana Vest by Vicky Sews. This one looks so expensive, and I really love the look of this one. I would say this one is a bit more of your semi-fitted style, and it has princess seams and a double welt pocket on the front. The back is also what really drew me to this pattern because it has back darts, and then it also has a princess seam as well as this really cute D-ring fastening detail to help you cinch in the waist. I think that looks really, really expensive. And details like that help you create a bit more of a fitted waist because it helps you cinch you in without you having to fit anything perfectly to your body. With all those special details, you can see why this may be more geared towards intermediate and advanced sewers, because if you're looking for a pattern to really get your teeth in and challenge you, I think this is definitely that pattern. The Liliana Vest by Vicky Sews actually recommends using more medium weight fabrics that are soft but also have a bit of structure, and this is also one of those patterns that you will need to use interfacing. I have got some examples that I'm going to share in a moment. So for the fabric, I came across this really gorgeous Atelier brunette cotton gabardine fabric in the shade Dahlia on our website, and I just fell in love with how bright and bold this is. It's just one of those bold statement colors that really is super eye-catching, and the color in person is beyond gorgeous. So it's got a really nice amount of structure, but it also, most importantly, still has a bit of drape, and I find that really important no matter what you're wearing. If you're making something to go on your body, you still want a bit of drape so it won't feel really rigid and stiff when you're wearing it. And this is just one of those perfect examples that has structure as well as drape. If I just show you a bit of a close-up of this fabric, you can really see that really gorgeous textured detail, and it's just such a stunning fabric. I really want to make something out of this now that I'm actually touching it. It feels very expensive and very luxurious, and that is exactly what you want if you're making a luxury looking waistcoat. So on the Liliana Vest pattern, you basically have to interface all the pieces. So you want to make sure you're using an interfacing that is soft and that doesn't feel really stiff. I personally like to use interfacing that just irons onto the fabric and it just adheres really easily. And because the fabric that I chose earlier is a bit heavier in weight, I would actually recommend using a more lighter weight interfacing like this one. So this is our Valiseline Light and Easy Soft Fuse interfacing. And as you can see, it really is nice and lightweight. And it also doesn't feel papery when you scrunch it, which means it's really, really good quality. If you found in the past you've used interfacing and it feels really papery and a bit cardboardy, that just means it isn't very good quality. If you've never sewn with interfacing before, you generally just use lighter weight interfacings, maybe more medium weight interfacings for clothing, and then you use heavier weight interfacings for bag making or any upholstery project. So they really do depend on the fabric that you're using. So this is the lightweight one that I just showed. This one is actually another interfacing from our website, and this is the Valiseline medium weight interfacing. I'm not sure if you can tell on camera the difference. Right off the bat, I can tell this is heavier in weight. It feels a bit more structured and it just generally feels heavier to touch. If you were to use a bit more of a lighter weight fabric, I would definitely recommend the medium weight one over the light one. And that's because the medium one will help you create a bit more structure before you start sewing the actual garment. If I just pull them both up next to each other, it might be hard to tell the difference, but this is the heavier one and this is the lighter weight one. Okay, so the next pattern that I want to talk about is the Butterick sewing pattern, the 6901. And if you remember that Max Amara example I showed in the beginning of the video, this pattern would be such a great dupe for that outfit. This one really caught my eye because it actually comes with a waistcoat pattern as well as trousers and shorts. So if you're looking to create a co-ord outfit, this is definitely a great example for that. The waistcoat is fairly simple. It has a V neckline detail, front and back darts, as well as two faux welt pockets. And what really caught my eye about this pattern is the back detail. It has a really cute tie back that you can actually tie into a really cute bow. Then the trousers and the shorts have two front pleats, slanted pockets, back waist darts for shaping, as well as an invisible zipper at the side seam of the trouser. Like I said, this is definitely a great pattern if you want to make a co-ord outfit. Both of those pieces paired together would make such a lovely evening out waistcoat and trouser set. The pattern recommends fabrics like gabardine, cotton poplin, wool, denim, anything in that sort of range. And to match that black example from Max Amara, I've gone for our core range cotton twill fabric in this really gorgeous black shade. As you can see, it's very, very jet black, and I absolutely love this about this fabric. I just think black in this pattern as a co-ord set would look so stunning. So cotton twill for trousers is such a great fabric because it has structure, but it also has a bit of drape. As you can see, if I pull this up, it doesn't look really, really stiff. It has a really nice amount of drape, but then it also has that needed structure for this type of pattern. I would say this is definitely more medium weight and it is really soft to touch. This is a close-up of this fabric, and as you can see, it has such a nice amount of structure and it still has that nice important amount of drape, and you can just see the really nice twill texture. And for this pattern, you will need to use interfacing. So I would actually choose the lighter weight interfacing for this fabric because it is a bit more medium weight and you still want to maintain that nice soft drapey property of the fabric. So using a lighter weight interfacing will definitely help you maintain that. So the last pattern that I want to share for my luxury waistcoat picks is the Joy Vest by Stylark. It's a fully lined vest pattern that has faux welt pockets, princess bust seams, and it describes itself as an easy fit. The back has a slightly fitted silhouette and this really gorgeous center back split, which adds such a nice stylish detail to this pattern. I really love that this one looks loose fitting, but it also has those nice tailored elements like the faux welt pockets for that nice stylish touch. The Joy Vest recommends using fabrics like cottons and linens and also advises using an interfacing for this pattern. So for a pattern like this, I would actually play around with using a lighter weight fabric and then use interfacing to give it a bit more structure. So I came across our Meat Milk Tencel Twill in the shade Warm Sand and I absolutely love this fabric. Look how drapey and luxurious it looks. So if I just show you a close-up of this fabric, this is what it looks like. It really has such a gorgeous amount of drape. I would definitely use this for this waistcoat pattern, especially if you're interfacing it to give it a tiny bit more structure in the areas that you need it. But imagine also making this with a really nice loose pair of flowy trousers. That with this waistcoat would look amazing. So this pattern also has a front button closure, and as you've probably noticed across all the examples that I shared, they all have front button closures. And if you're using a lightweight fabric, just make sure you definitely are interfacing that section to help it give it a bit more stability, and when you're putting it through the machine it won't tear up the fabric or anything like that. But in general, interfacing areas where you are going to sew buttonholes just helps add more stability, and it will just make it so much easier to sew. I hope you enjoyed this roundup of luxury looking waistcoats with fabrics and patterns to match. I'd love to hear which fabric or pattern was your favorite, so make sure you leave a comment down below. All the fabric and the patterns that I shared in this video are available on our website. So thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a lovely day.